Hey guys, so some big breaking news just came out. Trump regime in disarray. You have Kristi Noem is officially fired as she's the head of Department of Homeland Security. And it's interesting. Crystal has the backstory here, and she'll tell you what they're reporting is the specific reason why she was fired.
So apparently Trump was irritated by this $200 million ad campaign that she ran that featured her riding around on a horse and stuff and telling people to self-deport. And it was running on channels like Fox News. I'm not sure how many undocumented immigrants are watching Fox News. Kristi Noem told me to self-deport while riding around on a horse. Let me go ahead and do that. So anyway, there were also, I don't know that Trump cared about this, but the money also went to a firm that's directly connected to her and her purported lover, Corey Lewandowski. So in any case, she had that hearing where she came under fire recently, and she got asked about the $200 million ad campaign, and she said that Trump had greenlit it. And apparently that was the final straw for him. So he put out...
Let me just pause you to say, ahead. Hilarious that
that's the thing.
Well, the most prolific liar in American politics is you lied to me.
Yeah, I know. Well, and also it's oh my gosh, this, is self-promotional. Are you kidding me?
That's your whole thing. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
She thought she was signing up to self-promote.
Right.
Of course.
Yes, exactly. Why else is anyone in the Trump administration? They're all a bunch of weird fascist influencers. So anyway, I feel with Trump, he likes that. He likes someone who loves to be in front of the cameras until he doesn't, and then once that person starts to grate on his nerves, then the fact that she's constantly, doing her little costume changes and doing her $200 million promo budget, whatever, I guess that just started to get to him. But yeah, here's what he put out, because we have a replacement named already as well. He says, "I'm pleased to announce the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well, has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas," which is not a thing that exists. "Our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere we are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida." Is that how you say that? Doral?
Doral, yeah.
I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. He puts in quotes, and then he goes on to talk about how much he loves Mark Wayne Mullen, who is a total idiot. He's the guy who just got caught, he was trying to avoid saying the war in Iran was a war, but he came up and was blah, blah, blah about the war, and they're I thought it's not a war. And he's it's not a war. And they're you literally just said it's a war. That guy. Anyway, so he's putting in.
By the way, this thing that he's given her a position for is the tech native America. So what all the AI billionaires are in favor of, which is expanding the footprint of the United States, taking Greenland, taking Panama, taking Mexico, taking Venezuela, creating the tech native states. That's the shield of the Americas, the head of that. That's what he's talking about. So that is incredibly creepy, because it's more of a hint of we're expanding the empire, obviously. But the $200 million is insane, because that's she's just robbing us. That's just robbing us. There is no $200 million ad campaign. The ad campaign, that's that amount of money, it's putting your ads on the Super Bowl for 150 years. What are you talking about? They're not spending $200 million on this ad campaign. They're definitely stealing it. She also stole a bunch of FEMA money for, there was this, they said it was this pier or something, or dock or something that fell apart close to Corey Lewandowski's house or something in Florida. You remember this article?
No.
Well, anyway, they funneled a whole bunch of FEMA money. They hopped the line, funneled a whole bunch of FEMA money, and I think it's just her and Corey Lewandowski literally stealing that money.
There was also this recent flap about something to do with their private jet that they fly around on, and then she left. Initially, they said she left her blanket on it, and no one got it.
Turns out it was really a vibrator or some shit.
Really upset, but then it came out it was personal items that may have embarrassed her, whatever that means. So
butt plug, fucking vibrator. Her and Corey Lewandowski fly around the country, fucking and destroying immigrants' lives. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But I will say though, to me, it's always crazy when you hear shit like this, because Pam Bondi fucking self-immolated in front of all of Congress in that committee hearing.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too.
And
but her performance was actually more embarrassing. than Kristi Noem.
100%, not even close more embarrassing.
But it was more embarrassing in a way that pleased Trump.
Exactly, because she was like, the Dow's at 50,000. Who cares that the Epstein class is raping children? And she looked ridiculous to everybody, but Trump was like, she did a really great job, Pam Bondi. Amazing job she did. Incredible. And so it's just like, to get inside this man's head, it is psychotic.
Well, he can't fire Pam Bondi anyway, because at this point, I guess she knows where all the bodies are buried. So he's probably got to keep her. Anybody who was involved in directly involved in the Epstein cover-up, he probably kind of has to keep them close.
I'm still thinking about, like, if you're J.D. Vance, if you're Tulsi Gabbard, and you pretended to be so anti-war all that time, and then now you're sitting there. Did you see J.D. Vance just canceled March 14th, like, town hall with CBS?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's fucking running and hiding because he knows how horrible this shit looks.
Yeah.
No,
they all know it's a catastrophe. You could tell by the fact they didn't send a single person out on the Sunday shows. Like, Trump announced the war. We woke up Saturday morning to like, oh, holy shit, we're bombing Iran. Here we go. He put out that like pre-recorded brief video before going to party at Mar-a-Lago at that like $1 million a plate fundraiser. And then they didn't even put a single administration official out on the Sunday shows. Instead, Trump tweeted like, I don't remember which day of the week it was, but he was like, everybody watch Netanyahu on Sean Hannity tonight. It's like, well, I guess we should listen to him since apparently, we're doing his plan here. So I guess it is valuable to listen to what he has to say. But yeah, they know it's a catastrophe. I mean, I think Trump was deluded enough to believe that if they just killed the Ayatollah and a bunch of senior military leaders, he'd be able to, there'd be some sort of like rising up. He'd be able to claim some sort of quick victory. And when that didn't happen, and now you've got this gas price situation. There's a quote, I don't know if you saw this yet, but he got asked today about gas prices going up, and he's like, well, they're going to come back down, and I'm not really that worried about it because, a little bit of gas price increase is no big deal compared to what we're accomplishing here. Just completely downplaying the way that this is going to impact everybody's lives.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I'll also point out on Noem that she is a significantly worse liar than most of the other people in the regime, where she has fear in her eyes when she lies. I don't know if you ever noticed this about her, but when I've seen her on the Sunday shows and she says something that's like patently untrue, she looks like she's saying something that's untrue. She's like a quivering little chipmunk, Like, it's just, she gives off the body language of somebody who knows deep down, like, I'm doing something wrong here.
Yeah.
And I think that also is a big part of it. After the murder of either Renee Nicole Good or Alex Preddy in the press conference, and she just, like, totally lied and went through the statement of the ICE Gestapo thugs that was like, we were attacked, we were assaulted, then the video comes out, and it's, like, not even close to true. So, like, you see her reading it, and she's standing there really stiff, and like it's very robotic going through it. There's no oomph in it. There's none of that MAGA flair in it. So I think that might have something to do with it also, is that like you're not as committed to the criminal bit as everybody else is. I mean, you are a criminal and you're doing the horrible stuff, but you look weak as you do it. And Trump is all about optics and shit.
Yeah, I don't know if he cares about this, but she was central to the lies that were told about both Alex Preddy and Renee Good. I mean, right after Renee Good was murdered, she was at some event and she spun this whole tale about how they were getting cars out of the snow and a whole mob attacked the ICE officers. Just obviously blatantly untrue. And then wasn't she also the one who said that thing about how Alex Preddy had brandished a gun, and that was the language that they went with. So she was right at the heart of those lies, and obviously that, it's a moral disaster, but it also was a political disaster for Trump, and led to them, feeling pressure to at least say they were withdrawing, to draw down some of the presence in Minneapolis.
I also think she was sent out as a sacrificial lamb too in one of these things where, like, didn't Stephen Miller tell her to say something and she went out there and said it, but Trump didn't approve it, and then she got in trouble for it? Yeah. There was some kind of thing that happened there. Yeah, and she and Lewandowski were trying to say, no, we're doing what Stephen Miller told us to do. Right, and Trump was like, well, I didn't agree to that.
Yeah, and I guess Trump didn't like the framing of it, and there was infighting about where that messaging came from.
More evidence of the shadow president. being Stephen Miller. You know, like, just, he's the one that's calling the shot, and then they do it, then they get in trouble because they look fucking stupid. It was like, you know, wasn't it Trump that came out that was like, that doesn't look so good with one of these killings?
Yeah.
And, like, that's when he got mad at Kristi Noem and the rest of them for, like, hey, man, like, you can't just say all that other shit if it's not run by me, you know? So, Mark Wayne Mullen, by the way, is a two first name have an ass freak, and he is one of the dumbest people in Congress, so I'm not surprised that he's been picked.
I think he was also just on TV, like, mixing up Iraq and Iran, if memory serves. I know I've seen a few clips of him recently.
He's like the dumbest.
We're not impressive.
Yeah, when asked about the Iran war, to your point, he's just like, it's just so low IQ. Everything he says is just so fucking stupid. And like you said, he did the whole, like, it's not a war, and then they said, Trump said it's a war, and he's like, my mistake. God, it's fucking a clown show. But notice, Crystal, that the turnover in this regime is nothing compared to the first one. This is like the first high-profile firing, and we're more than a year in. And the reason why that is they're all sycophantic loyalist fucks. Whereas in the first term, you had some more slightly serious people around him who tried to keep the train on the tracks. This time, everybody's like fucking cheering as the train is significantly off the tracks. So that's why you're not seeing people get fired, because they suck them off every day.
Supposedly, also, he felt like
it looks weak.
Yeah, he didn't like the appearance of all the turnover in the first administration, and so apparently he's been reluctant. And he also doesn't like if there's, you know, criticism of, like, let's say Kash Patel. He doesn't like the feeling of, oh, I'm, you know, the media is pushing me into this or whatever. So yeah, for all those reasons, there's been much less turnover this time. So congrats, Kristi Noem. Way to pull off
there you have it.
Something that was difficult to accomplish.
Massive L.
Trump this time.
Massive L.